It's about 7:30 in the morning, and there's a few cars here on the campsite. So we're expecting a few more people here today. Right, so we're just about to go off on our first road run this morning. It's about 10:30 and we're off to Manchester Museum Airport. So we'll be off in a few minutes.
There's no power going to the, so it's not the lamp, it's the white wire.
Aircraft 387-900, just about to touch there. There's a 7-hour flying time. Once again, if you have your cameras and weather, and you may feel it's spectacular shots from the country of Thailand. Hi Gary.
Yeah.
Smile you on YouTube. So we're joined here by Paul Wren. He's joined us on the rally here, and he's brought his recently restored KR200. So Paul's had done quite a lot of work to this car, and he's had it for a few years. So, Paul, tell me, how long have you had the car?
This car I've had since 2003. Bought it as a running car. It'd never been restored, and it was in pretty poor state, but I managed to keep it on the road with new tyres and brakes, new cables. Eventually it got to a point where the suspension gave way. I had to then decide to take it off the road and do a full restoration.
So if you could tell us what sort of things you've done to it.
I had to replace some of the panel work on the floor and on the side walls on it. Get all the main body, get all the shape right. of it, and then sprayed it and put it all back together and made a new interior for it. I had to reset to put new suspension rubbers in it and set all the steering up, which was quite a complicated job, you know. But yeah, it's been on the road now for just under a year, and this is its first time out on a rally since 2014. I had to get re-chromed, which I had a company do for me. I had to buy some of the new parts off the owners club, which are available. Only certain parts.
I see you've done the interior yourself, Paul, and I like the matching two-stroke cam. So tell me how you tackle the interior.
The interior was actually made using the old interior as a pattern. The seats had to be taken apart. Patterns were made from the original seat covers, and then basically sewn back together and fitted in exactly the same way, the same piping, and as close as I could get to the original poppy red material.
Yeah, they look absolutely amazing. Very, very well done. It's a credit to you. Right, so Paul, if you'd just like to show us the engine compartment, because that's pretty impressive and tidy. So tell me what work you've done to the engine, Paul.
The engine's had a new clutch, all new bearings, and it's had the new rubber mounts for the engine and part of the wires replaced, and new carbon brushes on the dyno start.
It's certainly very, very clean under there.
Well, try my best to make sure there's no leaks on anything, make sure everything's tightened up and all the gaskets are good.
Thank you very much. See you later. You just tell us a bit about your car.
Well, it was bought when I bought it for £50 in a dreadful state, and unfortunately the club didn't have all the necessary bits and pieces that they've now got today, and hence the reason why things don't necessarily line up quite as well as they would do if they'd have been obtained from the club. Like the front wings are fiberglass, because again that was what was available.
Yeah.
They came from Cornwall. The rubber bumper bar at the front, I couldn't get an aluminium strip, so I put a rubber bumper bar on it because that would protect it in the event of anything happening. They're 4.25-inch steel beam units, mainly because I wanted very good illumination when we were using the car for filming with, as I said, with Fred on Where's Fred. So yeah, and they work really well. The problem is they're not that easy to get hold of now. Oh, the other thing that's interesting is a demister from here on the windscreen.
Yeah.
And that, if you look at it, that is a demister that they used to put on the back windscreen of cars donkeys years ago. So if it ever gets mist on it, I can switch that on, and that's a demister.
So that's purely electric then, isn't it?
That's purely 12-volt electric, yeah. And it's, believe it or not, I got this material from British Rail. All the material in this car is British Rail fabric that they covered the seats of trains in. I was very lucky to get. And then I got this chap to make them for me, make the covers, and that is Dunlopillar. Yeah, and then the heater, of course, what I've done, my heater is just a tube down there, right, with a second tube inside to give me the heat at the front. When I start the engine, I can tell whether the car is being charged or not. This engine is a bit of an oddball because it doesn't have a standard air filter that you get on a modern engine, on the other Messerschmitt engines. it's actually got a different gear ratio as well. I've spoken to Rowan about it, and he said these engines were used for all sorts of different vehicles, so it's possible that this engine may not be an original Messerschmitt engine. Teleflex cable, because they weren't available. So that there I got from the club, and look at that, that's a cable that you would use on for a boat,
Right.
for an outboard engine. So when you want to change gear, it does the same thing with the lever, but it's got a piano wire in there to the lever in the car.
Brilliant.
So my control box is not where it should be.
Yeah.
But again, it was because of what it was used for.
The rally itself is actually held at Sycamore Farm Caravan Site, not far from Macclesfield, I guess. But there's, apart from the microcars, there's some other interesting stuff here as well that I want to show you, particularly this behind me, which is I think is a Sycamore Explorer. These were often referred to as the coffee pot Scamels because of the expansion tank on top of the radiators there. It's certainly got a presence about it, this one. And this is a Foden, which I believe was a 2-stroke diesel engine, this one. Well, today is Saturday and we're off to Tatton Park.
The danger is, unless we announce
going on there now. Look. Picking up round over there.
That's the bright drum come up.
It's a not a KR200 one, but it's a Flitzer type axle. It is a sorry.
Talk as well. The Messerschmitt is deceptively long, and you need a long wheelbase Volkswagen Transporter to fit it in, and ideally timbers, long timbers to use as ramps, and then you jack the back of the Messerschmitt up, and then you can slide the ramps in more than 3 meters long, and they go partly under the driver's seat, and then when the wood is underneath the Messerschmitt, it stops it bouncing around on its own suspension. That's the end of the story.
Well, this is the Sunday of the rally, the final day, and the weather is absolutely terrible. It's a real washout, but there's a few cars here at the lineup. This is on the Sunday. Anyway, that's pretty much it for the Messerschmitt Rally 2021. Thanks for watching. Bye.